Hello everybody, here at Listat606. Welcome back for some more poker on PokerStars. Another session at NL2 Zoom. Let's begin our session right here. Thank you very much for watching and coming back to the channel. Some of you have asked me why I've been away for some time, and I not have actually been away. Just been having a terrible case of downswing. It's been unbelievable, losing for 2 and 3 outers dozens and dozens of times. It's so tough playing on these conditions, exactly like here, when you are actually ahead and keep losing over and over for some impossible draws. And it has been a week that has been going through some hellish hands. Just for you to have an idea, my very last hand before I started this session, I flopped a set on a rainbow flop and end up losing to ace king suited that got runner flush. And just before I started this session, I went to look at the stats, and I was no more no less than 96.5 ahead. The ace king suited had absolutely no chance unless he caught 2 callers from the 9 left on the deck. It was unbelievable, and it was just the tail end of a very bad week I had. So sorry guys, I'm not really sure if that's something you'd like to see, a guy struggling over and over again to make some hands, to make some money, and just failing miserably. So that's why I've not been posting. I'm not ashamed of showing some bad plays from me or some bad sessions from me, but this was just too many in a row, and I just didn't feel like posting them or even to play the game. Actually, prior to this session, I've been at least 3 or 4 days without playing, because when you're playing good and you lose, you start playing bad, trying to win. And playing bad, trying to win, it's even a worse decision than playing good and losing by being unlucky, as I was. So that's a short story of what happened to me in the past week or week and a half, and I'm trying to come back, trying to keep playing well, grinding, and don't let myself get upset or tilt just because some unbelievable odds have hit for the villains. So my game might not be as sharp as it used to be, because I haven't been playing that much, but I'm still trying. I'm still confident that I'm making good choices and good plays, and hopefully I can come back and get some profit on the tables. Again, hopefully this guy was bluffing and I can represent the flush. This is the type of play we shouldn't be doing in this level, but there's nothing left for me to do, so that's what I'm going to do. If he calls, he calls. He folded like I was trying to do. So good play for us, but this is not the typical play that wins at this level. This type of play wins at some bigger levels. But sometimes if the player is good and if he understands that you might be drawing to that flush, he's going to fold. At this level they don't care. Generally they don't care, they just call. So this type of play is normally not profitable at this level. But in the end it worked. And I actually know that player. I have thousands and thousands of hands against him. That's why I did that play against him. If it was an unknown, I would probably have folded immediately. I've mentioned that I'm probably going to make some NL10 and NL5 videos. I'm probably going to do them with just one table, because at those levels you should play a bit more well thought type of plays. You need to float a bit more, you need to defend a bit more, and it's difficult to make those plays effectively if you're playing more than one table. Two tables, it's generally okay if you're folding 70% of the time, but still the timings will be all wrong. So I'm thinking about that. Hopefully I'll get my game going, and as you can see I'm losing 1 euro right now, but I'm still confident that I can come back and bring up a profit. I'm looking to do we're 7 minutes in. I'm looking to do a 1 hour long session, because that's what I normally do. When I record for you guys, I generally do half an hour, but I feel that 1 hour videos are a bit better. So let's carry on. These guys don't seem to want to carry on. Let's see if they want to let go. I still have some outs on diamonds, not many, but they might want to fold. So it didn't happen, but we got our diamonds. But this also gives a potential full house to somebody, and we are not actually having the nut flush, so I'm going to check this one out. Oh, this was ugly. Anyway, we made a little profit. If we raised and then got jammed, it would be money out of the window. We would have to fold because we were losing to about 30 other hands. So that's why you shouldn't make this type of plays often. You should make them once in a while to catch them off guard. But we just flopped the nuts over here. Let's see if we get some money out of these guys. Well, they don't seem to want to play. We blocking hearts. So let's see if this guy catches anything. He doesn't seem to want to catch anything. Let's bluff with the best hand here. Same thing here. Let's bluff with the best hand and try to get a call out of them. Not on that side. Wow, that's what is interesting. Hopefully this guy made a flush, made a full house, and he will try to steal this from me. That would be perfect, but it wasn't the case. So we're back to even, or close to even, We should keep our bluffs to the barely minimum and try to bluff only against one person, and when we have a very good reading on that person, and most of the time we should have a very good hand to go through, because generally they'll be paying with bottom pairs and two pairs and those kind of hands on this level. So a simple straight, a simple set should be making money, but bluffs by the same reason shouldn't be making that much money. So we should be protecting our stack, our bankroll, and looking to find good spots to make a profit. Let's see what we can do. It's not a great hand, but we have a few cards that would be good for us, but that raise makes everything more difficult. I'm going to try to win this hand right here with jacks. Hopefully, I don't mind winning what's on the pot. It's better than the flop coming with an ace or a king or a queen, and then you have to fold. Defending is something generally doesn't work well here at these levels. Above you can defend a bit more because people are more concerned about some plays you might make, but at this level people generally don't understand most of it. They're only looking at what they have, and most of the time ace, a pair is a great hand for these people, and they will call with one pair. So all we have to do is kinda have a better hand than one pair and fold everything that's less than that. This is just a metaphor. Obviously, two pair is the type of hand that will not survive a river. If the hand goes, if you have a pair and or two pairs and you go up to the river, you're probably going to lose a big portion of the time. The best idea with two pairs is try to play it slow as possible, hoping that you progress to a full house, because most of the time there will be a straight, a flush, or something else, and you either have to fold to the pressure or you're going to call with very bad odds. But again, not everything is a written rule carved in stone or something. For every rule there's an exception, and by practice you will learn what are the rules and what are the exceptions, and what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because it's kind of personal. Sometimes it has a bit of personal taste to the plays you make, and even though this video is just to give you an idea of how I play, you should find your own feels, your own ideas, your own techniques. Pay attention to what works and what doesn't work for you, and it's generally achieved by preparing yourself. Even for this type of level, it's a great tool to lose an hour a day rewatching your plays, even if you are able to record your session and then watch yourself play. Even if you're talking to a microphone like I'm doing here to record, you can do this to when you play, so you can follow your train of thought when you were This tool is a fantastic tool for you to know what you were thinking, if you were thinking bad, if you were tilting, how did you base your ideas, and by doing this frequently, you'll get a lot of feel, a lot of intuition on the particular level that you are studying. I want to stress again that if you practice at one level, you should not be playing at a different level, because the ideas that are in play are substantially different. What works at NL2 will not work at NL10, and vice versa. Should have your mind clear. Again, I only have a pair with a medium kicker. There's nothing I can do about this. And this is a very terrible flop here, all with the queens. So just unlucky. Against two guys, somebody has a big percentage of kings on this type of situations. I have two tens with a medium kicker. This guy didn't raise, so he might have a 10 or even 7, so we need to be very careful with this type of hand. He can have queen 10, he can have ace 10 on this type of positions, so we need to be extremely careful with this situation here. And it seems to be pushing and pushing, and this was not great. Let's see if it checks behind. That was our best option. Was in another raise would have made it extremely tough for us to call. Once we think that he can have queen 10, king 10, ace 10, it would be very tough to actually raise on that flop if he had raised. This is the type of play you can also think in reverse. If you find yourself in some of these situations, you know that sometimes you need to raise because you will take some ends like mine from play. Okay, we got a call with aces, and we win 80%, we lose 20%, and let it be. Again, kings. Hopefully it will hold, and it did hold. Good for us. Tap on the back, and we are in the profit. So good, very good. I don't want to check and give him a free look at this board. He needs to pay. We are losing to a lot of straights, a lot of flushes, but he has a small stack, so it's not something we are very, very concerned about. But in the same way, we don't need to raise more than this on this flop, because, well, he had a straight. We could be losing to at least another 5 or 6 flushes, so we don't need to put ourselves in that position. Try to keep it simple. They show up on the river with the most crazy hands, with the most absolute crazy my gut would like to make this call, but I really prefer to have a good profit. A small profit is better than a losing session. So even if he has something like ace king or ace queen, a single card on that board will win. So by being so unlucky that as I'm being lately, I would rather keep the profit I have at the moment than trying to be cheeky and gamble. Okay, this was worth a try, but now with this type of flop, it sounds like he has like tens or nines. Ace king, no, doesn't sound like ace king, but still I have to fold. And now I just flopped a full house here. Let's see if these guys catch something more. So we are again, this type of play, they can have a bigger pair and draw out on us, but we should be blocking that. And I don't know, this guy probably going to fold here, this situation. It does seem that I'm kind of losing track of what is happening. So we got a call on the other table, and I don't really know what he had. Okay, this seems very strange. The play here on this left, top left, and this, oh my god, this sounds like a just hit two pair or a set or something. I lost track. I'm being honest. I lost track what I was doing because of the full house on the other side. So straight. Oh my god, such a bad play. And I lost track. Sorry guys. I was so concerned about extracting some money on that full house that I lost track what was happening with my aces here. Anyway, we're still in the profit. It was not a great play. As you can see from our graph on the lower right, we kinda playing alright. Those aces were a big mistake. But playing for tables, that can happen. Let's try to bluff with the best hand here. We're only losing to queens, and he shouldn't be holding queens, and he's probably going for a draw. Now we can be losing for pocket threes, but if he has that hand, he has that hand. That's it, pretty much that's it. And now this is a type of kings. This is a type of hand that, especially from the early position, this guy should be holding something strong. But since he's not a full stack, I'm going to gamble against him. With a full stack, I would probably play it a bit slower, and we got called, and this is not something we want to carry on. Let's see what it thinks about the type of play. And this was the worst scenario. Again, this was the worst scenario, but now we pot committed. We don't even have clubs, but he can be holding queens and jacks and whatnot as well. He should have aces, some kind of ace there. Yeah, it was also very unlucky, extremely unlucky there, but that's poker. He had actually some good percentages to draw out on us, and he did. It was a shame. We were starting to roll, and with two consecutive ends, we got ourselves nearly back to square one. Mainly we're playing alright. Not occasionally a mistake here and there, but nothing too serious. That means that we actually can be confident of finishing this session with some kind of profit. It's just a case of avoiding the bad spots. Here we have some outs against this guy and 2 pairs. This is a very juicy hand here. Let's see if this guy is afraid of a queen. It's a type of play that generally doesn't work. If he has an ace, he's going to call. And again, with these 2 jacks means we're losing to everything, even though we have 2 pair. So let's see. He's thinking a lot. Yeah. This is the type of play. He's probably holding a queen himself, so this is pretty much reasonable. Again, we make this type of plays with little money. We don't want to shove all in on a pure bluff, especially at NL2. Because we're going to get called a big portion of the time, and it's so often that we get called that it's nearly impossible to turn a profit with that type of play. This guy is a tough player. I have a good record from him. He's probably holding some kind of pair or ace king or something, but I have nothing to continue. I could draw to a 3, but if he has a 6, he's beating that as well, so might as well fold. It's just a shame. We had a couple hands that we kinda lost control. It's one of the reasons why sometimes playing less tables is superior, and that's something you can test as well. Just see how much money you do per hour. Track your sessions with a spreadsheet and see at what levels and how many tables and those kind of things, how much money you make per hour under every single condition, and then all you have to do is play the level and the amount of tables that gives you the best return for your money. If it's 2 tables, don't play 3. Even if it's boring, sometimes it's boring, you're just folding for 15 minutes until you have a playable hand. You shouldn't be playing hands just because you're bored. That's some mistakes I sometimes do. I fall to that trap, to play a hand just because I'm bored. Again, I have a flush draw here that can be losing to a king draw, but we can keep on plowing to see if it justifies. And now I'm doing to I have 31% chance of making my flush, and I don't think so. Some of those flushes are going to make full houses for the villain, and it seems he has some kind of 2 pair or a set, and he was making it very expensive for us to continue, and it's a shame. I shouldn't be. I'm only playing this hand here because I have position. Otherwise I won't be playing this hand. The flop is not great for us, so we need to see a free card, and they are allowing us to see a free card. Now this guy's raised a lot, so he might be holding aces, and that's pretty much the nuts over there. If he has aces, it doesn't seem that he has aces. Let's stab. If nobody has aces, they'll be extremely afraid of aces. Exactly. So we won a pot that didn't belong to us, but that's poker as well. If they feel weak, you should always give a stab at the right moment, not just stab for a stab. Just to put money on the table just because you want to bluff. Justify your bluffs. Think of what you're representing, and if what you're representing actually makes sense, because if it doesn't make sense, it's very likely that it's a bluff. So you should think, what would I do? First think what the nuts is, and if your plays are consistent with the nuts. If they are not consistent with the nuts, you will not be able to represent the nuts. Okay, this is not running that well, and okay, let's try to get these things all in here and hope he doesn't have aces. Okay, a small pot is better than a lost pot. Now we have to be patient to see if the good hands come back to us, and we should try not to lose too much money in the process. I would like to finish the session with at least one stack of profit. That's generally my aim. Sometimes I go above that, sometimes below, as it's been happening lately with me. When in a session you lose 5 or 6 times to 2 or 3 outers, it's very difficult to turn a profit. This is the type of, okay, we just won, but this is the type of flop that you should stab once, and you should actually tailor those stabs, so to say, to the player that you're playing against. Some people like to fold on the flop, some people like to fold on the turn, some people like to fold on a river, and some people, when they have odds, they actually have those stats, so they can tailor their steals to better suit the player they're playing against. But I recommend spreading it. Sometimes stab on one street, sometimes stab on another, so you catch them off guard. Okay, this is not the best board we should have. Again, we have the top pair and with a good draw, an open-ended draw. So, and that guy also doesn't have a big stack, and this is not great. This is not great. We need, wow, this guy is running deep. Wow, 11 stacks. So this is a raise. Now we're looking into completing our straight draw that didn't show. So that's it. No reason to continue with this type of plays. He's hitting some 9s, 10s, jacks. So there's a bit of everything in there for us to continue. This is not going well. Not flopping anything interesting lately. Can't continue with this type of hand. Okay, we're going to try to steal here. Let's represent aces with jacks. Let's represent aces with jacks. we should be folding most of the time. If this guy folds, this should be folding as well. If he didn't fold, it's not too deep, so we could actually afford to call him, even if he limped shove, which is some movements that some people do at these levels. It's just a shame we had a good run a bit ago, and now it's drying up for us. Okay, let's hope we flop the nut straight. Here we got something, but nothing too interesting to brag about. We're losing this hand most of the times, but we have top pair and a good kicker. So let's, okay, that was good. I need a 6, and 6 of clubs actually completes a flush draw, so I'm going to fold. This is a hand I'm not going to continue. I'm losing to everything. Aces. This is, everybody's going to fold to my raise. Yeah, exactly. I don't like limping on the early position because it's such a struggle, such a play uphill when you in the early position that I would rather raise. But I also raise with some other hands just to disguise my aces, but it didn't work this time. So I need a queen here. This is he didn't like me calling him. Let's see if he wants to fold. He does. Some people are terribly afraid of the set miners, and when they raise check, sometimes they're stabbing and then they're letting it go because they're afraid of the set mining, and we take advantage in those positions. You should be very careful, because sometimes this is also a trap, so you should tailor your movements to the player and don't go overboard with your sizings. Again, we're close to even, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Okay. Let's try to bluff this guy with the best hand, and it didn't work. Sometimes you need to slow play these hands. Again, a bit of slow play here and there, and then a bit of a more aggressive route some other times. So we catch them off guard. Okay, we got called twice. This must mean a king. Wow, unbelievable. Ace 9, and he got a 9 flush. He won with a 9 flush. He called a couple times with ace 9. Okay. Again, this is the type of hand we are generally against, and we should adjust for those type of plays. I need a bit better than bottom pair with a low kicker to make that call. We are 40 minutes in, give or take, so we're going to give it another 20 minutes to wrap it up. This is type of a play that I hate, but I can't call. Let's try to bluff with the best hand here. If we get something out of this guy, we're probably dying. It doesn't seem... We're losing to pocket sevens actually, but I'm not afraid of pocket sevens. I do think that we're going to tie this more often than not. If we lose to pocket sevens, let it be, but it wasn't the case. I would like to carry on with my queens on the top left, but I can't go overboard because of something that like this might happen. Exactly, aces or kings going to show up and slow down my action, and this is probably a bluff from him. But we are losing also to a 10. He can easily have a 10, and with a 3-bet on the flop, he probably has an ace. So that's why one of the reasons why I didn't re-raise on that spot, because when you're running so bad as I am, aces, kings, everything is going to show up. Okay. Nothing good is happening. Nothing good is happening. It's a shame. Let's carry on. Keep making good decisions, at least as good as possible, and hoping that we can make some money. Okay, this is the type of flop I need on this side. They let me see another card. It didn't come out. Let me see another card, and it didn't come out either. We might win this on the flop if they don't catch anything, which was nearly impossible. This guy is telling me that he wants to fold. I'm not convinced though. I think he's going to re-raise me, but I'll do the play anyway, just to check. He didn't re-raise me, but he called, and now the scare card just show up, and he's probably going to show me a king. He's probably going to show me a king. Wow. He had 8 outs, and one of those 8 outs showed up. Alright, let's carry on. And we got something on the river. It also happens to us once in a while. That's good. That is a good thing. Now I'm winning right here. I don't really want to see another heart. That's why I raise over there. And this guy is very aggressive, so I would like to see a spade. Alright, exactly. Alright. This is a bit crazy, but I'm going to re-raise here. Oh, shoot. This was not great. That was not great. That was not great. That was not great. But I'm pot committed now. Pot committed now. Wow. Yeah. good figures. Unbelievable. Okay, that sucks. That sucks. And that will make it impossible for me to turn a profit on this session. Let's try to minimize the losses. Again, I was probably winning. He had 6 or 7 outs there, but his outs hit. And that's the story. It was one of the reasons why I wanted to raise on that spot, to avoid this type of draws. Wasn't enough though. Some of you might suggest to wait until the river to guarantee that the board doesn't double, and that's right. You can actually do that, but a lot of scare cards will show up that will chase you away from a winning hand. Okay, so now I'm a bit tilted because, as you can see, nothing is working. So I'm going to call, and I'm losing again. Well, wow, did you see that again? Did you see that? I lost to 4 or 5 outs this time, and this has been the story of my life in the last week. I simply, so difficult to win, even when you have the best hand. This is terrible. Sorry, you guys. Just pay attention on what I'm doing and do the exact opposite. And it's very difficult not to be tilted, and some of this stuff happens. I know that poker players can have downswings as long as 3 months, 4 months, a year even, but you need to be extremely confident in yourself to not let it affect you. Again, I'm quite happy with this spot, so I'm going to try to win it right here. I don't want to see another club on that board. And now I have to pair. There's a flush there, and now the 4th heart showed up. And yeah, it is what it is. Okay, you lost even to a worse hand. Well, not a worse hand, but an ugly one. I'm still hoping to cut my losses somewhere, sometime, but it's not looking any easy. And if I lose to another 2 or 3 outs again, I will shut the session up, because obviously it's not worth playing when you are behind. You lose. When you are ahead, you lose. It's not worth keep playing. Wow, it's unbelievable. So I think in the end of the session I will analyze those losing hands. If you want to stay around, I'll bring my replayer up and I'll go through the 2 or 3 hands that I think I might not have played well, or if just to know, because sometimes you think you were unlucky but actually you played bad, and it's good to know that whether you played right and you was unlucky, or if you played bad, so you can improve on those type of plays. Okay, let's wait to see if a club doesn't show up. And a club didn't, but a heart did. Diamonds did. Okay, so we made some money back. This is the type of play, if I was in the profit, I would have played it differently. For those that might be noticing that my mouse movements are a bit jerky, they are, and that's because I'm using a trackball mouse, because I have so much real estate to cover that a regular mouse was giving me some pain, so I decided to change to a trackball mouse. I want to win this right here, because I know if he has some kind of draw, he's going to draw out on me, so I want to win it right away. I don't want to see any diamonds here, or the board to double up like it did last time, so I would like to win this right away if I can. Exactly, thank you very much. Again, if I wasn't losing, I would have played it differently. I would have tried to squeeze some more money out of him, but it's just not working for me, so I don't want to push my very bad luck. But again, I was talking about the mouse, and so the rotation of the ball doesn't cover the entire screen, so I have to kind of skip. That's why the mouse is looks a bit jerky. I hope you guys don't mind, but I was getting some tendinitis in my elbow because I was trying to cover with the screen with my entire arm, and spending 2 or 3 hours a day playing poker was giving me some stress on the elbow. And actually I also have tendinitis on my index finger for so many clicks. I've counted or calculated actually about 10,000 clicks for every hour of poker, and that's a lot of repetitions for those tiny little tendons and muscles. I've tried to use short keys, but they don't seem to work with my setup. I set them up, but they don't work, which is a shame. I could actually take some of the clicks away from my finger, but it's not working, so I have to keep doing it the old-fashioned way. And again, 55 minutes in, and we are not getting anything back. So I think I'm going to close my session here. Obviously it's not working well. So no need to insist more. I will come back later. And we like I promised, we're going to replay. Okay, what's this? Pocket fives. Pocket eights. Might as well. A7. Alright. So I made some money back. Now we have two pair on this side. And all we can hope is actually make a full house. This guy can be holding any type of pairs, and if he has some pairs, there's a big chance that if the board pairs is going to beat us, if he's not already ahead of us. I hope he checks. If he has tens, jacks, something like that, and he checks, and you can see the flop. Okay, you see, like I said, if the board paired, we would be losing. Okay, it's not the greatest hands of all, but it's better than we're having, and we got a call with the worst hand, so we made something back. We made a Nero back in the last few hands. We played 1 hour and 3 minutes, give or take, and well, the session is 1 hour and 3 minutes because I started the session slightly before, so I have everything in place for you guys to follow. But we actually played 88 hands throughout, and we're going to try to see a few hands that we played badly. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the session. So let's open up one that we have lost, and I'm going to increase my tracker here so we can follow it a bit better. Okay, so somehow we decided to play 4-2 suited. Now watching this here, it's already a bad option, but I was probably tilted then. Let's see what we decided to do with we called. It's somewhat a bad call already. I don't really know what I was paying attention to then, but it seems right away that it's a bad call. It should be a fold. As you can see, we have 18% chance of winning, and you shouldn't be playing anything below 30%, pretty much. So let's carry on and see what was the movement, what was the reason we lost a stack here. Okay, So we had some kind of a very weak draw with this with these clubs, with these spades, and we should have folded, and we still running bad. And this flop, and this was another opportunity to fold, and we just called, and now we cannot fold anymore when we make our flush. But as you can see, it's a very weak flush, extremely weak flush. So basically there's like 9 flushes ahead of us. He has a very good hand as well. He cannot possibly fold here, especially because he's blocking exactly the flushes with this. He's blocking a lot of flushes with this 9 of spades. How did we probably raised in this situation? And we did raise, which is kind of a good play. And now this call is a bit shady, but at this point we pot committed, so we had 2 opportunities to escape this trap. We should have folded this hand pre-flop, and we should have folded this hand on the flop, and from the turn we actually played it properly on the turn, and we were ahead, and that's all we can do. And this type of rivers were just unlucky for us. Overall, this is not linear. This is not linear, so we had some bad plays and some good plays on this hand, but overall this was actually a bad play from us. We should have folded this pre-flop. Let's go for the next one. Next one, well, that's it. A raise, a re-raise, another re-raise, a call, and I was just wanted to stop this here to see that we are actually 86% ahead, and he has 6 outs, so he needs a king or a 10 here. So he has 6 outs in 45 cards still to come out, and that makes it unlucky for us to lose it. But again, pre-flop, this was probably let's go back to the flop. We needed to go to the beginning. Anyway, I think he re-raised, and we just called, trying to flop a set. When you have a lot of money on a pot with a medium pair, that's your hope, and that's what happened here. So a fold, you shouldn't be when you get 4 betted or 5 betted with queens, jacks, tens. We most likely behind against this type of hand. But when you flop this type of set, you're 90% ahead basically, and you can't fold anymore no matter what. We just got unlucky again. So one hand, overall this hand was played reasonably. There's an argument about folding this pre-flop, but once the flop comes out, we played it 100% correct. We were just unlucky. Unlike the 4-2 suited that we should have played, it was a bad play. This was a quite reasonable play here. We just got bad luck. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch you on another time with some better luck and some better plays. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned from my mistakes, and see you next time.